Hello chaps and chapesses, welcome to John Robson Guitar Tuition, where today we're taking a look at one of my favourite methods of adding a little bit of speed to a solo, tapping. Okay, all of those licks that you heard there all use the A minor or C major pentatonic scale, which means that you can use them in any song if it's based around a C major chord or an A minor chord, and from there you can transpose into any key you might need to go to. But before we start looking at actual licks, let's take a moment to look at some of the basic techniques that are common to all tapping licks. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the techniques involved in tapping, and these are mainly right-hand techniques, assuming of course that you are right-handed. If you're left-handed, then they're left-hand techniques. The first thing to decide is which finger you're going to use for tapping. Now, two schools of thought here, and both are right. It's a case of finding which one works best for you. Some players tend to use their middle finger to tap like that, in that kind of fashion, so that they can hang on to the pick. Whereas myself, most of the time, I tend to use my first finger, and you can see that little move I do there, where I just kind of palm the pick into the crook of the next finger, like that. That's how I kind of go in and out of tapping mode. I also tend to place the heel of my tapping hand on the top part of the neck there, like that, which means I can kind of hang down across the strings with my first finger and just do all my kind of tapping stuff like that, and I can cross from string to string quite easily. And that also allows me to do the necessary muting techniques, which is what we're going to come to next. Right then, let's take a look at the absolutely essential muting element of any tapping lick. It's often overlooked, this. First of all, you can see that with my right hand, my tapping hand, I'm using the heel of that hand to mute the bass strings. Chances are, if you're doing a tapping lick, then you're probably going to be playing with a relatively high gain kind of sound. And if you're kind of banging away on the neck with your index finger, then that's going to set up sympathetic vibrations in the other strings and cause all manner of unwanted overtones, which is why you need to mute the strings that you're not playing on. Next up, if I'm playing on the lower strings, you can see that I'm using kind of the underside of my fretting hand first finger to mute the top strings. Again, it's all about silencing the strings that you're not playing on and stopping them vibrating in sympathy with the one that you are playing on. And finally, if I'm playing a lick which involves moving from one string to another string in a downward direction, say from the second string to the third string and back again, then what can happen is, when I've done what I need to do on the third string to go back to the second string, if I don't mute the third string, it will create an open string as I pull off away from it. So we need to mute the lower of the two strings. And you can see I do that with just the end of my fretting hand first finger. It's just butting up against the string in order to stop any open string pull off unwanted notes from happening. And those are the essential muting techniques involved in tapping. Practice them and get them so that they just feel instinctive, that you don't even have to think about doing them. And now we come to the licks themselves. Each of these licks is based largely around pattern number 1 of the A minor pentatonic scale at the 5th fret. But once you've learned them and they start to feel comfortable, adapt them to the other 4 of the 5 different pentatonic patterns as well. You can even then kind of take things a bit further and add in some extra non-pentatonic notes to get something a little bit more modal sounding. One of these licks, I forget which one it is, actually has a little passing note in there. See if you can spot which one that is. They will all be demonstrated fast, then slow, then mapped out on the neck in a little kind of animation that I've done for each lick, so here they are. Notice that little bit of string skipping in the final one? Yeah, I nicked that off Paul Gilbert. Thanks, Paul. Anyway, coming up next, you're going to hear all of those licks in context once again, and then it's up to you to go away and do something with them. So that pretty much rounds things up for today. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll get to see more of them. If you're interested in one-to-one private tuition, then if you live on Teesside, get in touch with me via the details at the end of this video. Or if you're interested in Skype tuition, again, just get in touch via the same details. Before I go, I'll just take a little moment to give a plug to my new album. It's called The Whiskey Made Me Do It, and it's available on all major platforms, and the links are in the description box below, as are links to some different jam tracks that you can try these licks out over. That's it for now, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye for now.